So what I wanted to do for us is to give everyone an experience of what it's like to go through a guided visualization or relaxation exercise. And the subject that we're going to embrace is the whole concept of empowerment. And so when we first entered today, we got to experience what it would be like to do breath work. And so this is another type of grounding that we can do. And I will say that depending on your circumstances and your preferences, some of these activities may feel really great to you and you can fall right into them. Some of them take a little bit of practice and experience to have an appreciation for them. And so with that said, we will go ahead and begin now that I see that everyone is coming back. And so I want everyone to get into a comfortable position before we start. Okay. So please close your eyes and take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale slowly. As you do this, you will let go of any tension in your body. Continue to breathe deeply, feeling your muscles soften with each breath. I want you to know that this time is yours. Imagine yourself in a wide open space, somewhere in nature where you feel both calm and powerful. It could be a high mountain peak, a vast desert, or a serene forest clearing. Picture the sky stretching endlessly above you, the earth solid and strong beneath your feet. Take a moment to feel the strength of this place, knowing that you are safe, centered, and at peace. Feel yourself grounding as if the earth itself is lending you its strength. With each breath, imagine roots growing from your feet into the ground, connecting you to a deep reservoir of power and resilience. Feel this energy flowing through your feet, moving through your legs, filling your entire body. Now, see yourself standing in front of a mirror within this powerful place. But this is no ordinary mirror. This mirror reflects not only your appearance, but the essence of who you are. See yourself as your most empowered self, radiating confidence and inner strength. Notice your posture, the calm power in your gaze, and the grounded energy you exude. As you look at this empowered version of yourself, consider a quality you wish to strengthen within yourself, whether it's courage, resilience, determination, or clarity. Watch as this quality shines even brighter within the reflection, glowing from within. Know that this is who you are at your core, that this strength already exists within you, waiting to guide you in your life. Imagine reaching out and touching the mirror, merging with this empowered version of yourself. Feel the energy integrating into every cell of your body, filling you with a sense of confidence and purpose. Next, imagine that you begin walking down a path in this natural space, moving with a sense of purpose. You come across a doorway in front of you, leading to a place of power within you, a sanctuary of sorts for your inner strength. Open the door and step inside. This sanctuary is designed perfectly for you. Take a moment to observe the details, the colors, the feeling of safety and strength here. Notice symbols or objects in this space that represent qualities you admire or goals you want to achieve. Feel the energy of this place seeping into you, solidifying your sense of resilience and empowering you to face any challenge with courage and confidence. Now, let's take a moment to repeat these affirmations silently, allowing each one to resonate deeply within. I am deeply connected to my inner strength and wisdom. I have the courage to face challenges and the resilience to overcome them. I believe in myself and trust my abilities. I am worthy of success and capable of achieving my goals. Do let these words anchor in your mind, allowing each one to reinforce your sense of empowerment and purpose. Now, as we begin to leave your sanctuary, knowing that you can return here anytime you wish to reconnect with the strength, walk back along this path, feeling the earth beneath you until you return to the present moment. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, feel yourself back in your body, ready to bring this empowerment into your day. Wiggle your fingers and toes, roll your shoulders, and gently open your eyes when you are ready, feeling grounded, energized, and empowered. I want you to carry this sense of strength, knowing that is always within you, ready to guide and support you through anything you face. Thought there were going to be some rocket ships, AK. Um, so that there was something that, there we go. I can count on AK for the rocket ship experience. All jokes aside, that was part of our checking the tech. We realized that you could take any of the reactions and you could have them be animated and do fancy things rather than just show up in the corner of your box that you're in. So yes. So did anyone have like a thought that comes to mind as you experience that? And it can be positive or negative, good or bad, but what was it that you felt as you went through that experience? So we have reassuring, okay? Relaxation, did anyone feel the opposite of those feelings? Calm. Oh, yes, I did emphasize the word empower. Yes, that is true. So after having that experience, how many of you would return to have another one if I were to put that out there in the world for you guys? Okay. Just wanted to check because I know that it's for some of us late in the afternoon and in some places of the world late in the evening. So I just want to make sure that you guys are all present and here with me, that I haven't relaxed you so much because this is a part of our program where RJ Horner and I are going to be speaking to role models and mentorship. And so with that, I'm going to kick it over to RJ to start us off. And as he's speaking, I'm going to be sharing a mentorship guide and a mentor and mentee form. So if you wonder what I'm doing while he's talking, I am tracking, but I'm getting that to all of you guys. So take it away, RJ.
Yeah, so I'm RJ Horner. My name is actually Robert John Horner, but I go by RJ. First of all, nobody remembers Robert. But when I walk into a room, people recognize RJ is here, and kind of gets me, a little bit of a maybe an ego boost, but a little bit of a thrill that, I'm somebody when I walk into a room. Whereas, Rob or Robert, he was just a boring guy to me. So I'm RJ by choice. And that's the not just a persona, it's who I am at this point. It's um but it's because of the person I've become. Like I said, I was a peeved off, angry man, blaming the world for my problems. And somewhere along the line, I realized I had to change that. I had to take responsibility for who I was as a person. And that's really, I think everyone in this room pretty much has recognized that they have a choice. They can become a better person. And that's what empowering positive role models is all about. It's making that choice to not only become a better person for ourselves, but to become a better person for those we serve. And that's really what it all boils down to. I tell people I am a leader building leaders. And I love that, Aaron said the exact same thing in his presentation, is that we are here to not just empower people, but we are here to empower people who can take our place, who can serve others and show up where we cannot, right? So to keep that evolution going and building people for tomorrow, because we have to have a tomorrow somewhere down the road. We are not going to be here. I see myself as, taking up the place of Bob Proctor, Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, all of these people who are no longer here, who have taught me all of these amazing lessons of growth, development. And these are, in essence, my mentors. These are people who have brought me to the place I am today. I value each and every one of them. So, what it boils down to is, what is a mentor? Where does mentoring come from? Because I think every one of us is a mentor. Um, Aaron even brought it up earlier in his presentation that, as a stepdad, I was a mentor. Now, for a large part of their life, I was showing up in the wrong way. As AK said, maybe I was serving them, right? By being that rough, aggressive influence in their life. I probably did them a service, but I'll never know what kind of person they would be if I was a different person, if I was serving them in a different way. So, and that's what we're trying to get to here is, how can we influence people in a positive influence? So, as mentors, um, I think we often see mentors as, that older influence, that somebody who has experience, somebody who can show us the way, but it doesn't necessarily have to be an older person. It can be anybody who has more experience than we have in any area of our lives that we're willing to explore. Many people in this group have already served each other through the effectiveness of this group. Mads has influenced us on our social media and how to get out there and connect with our clients in a greater way. Darren has, influenced us on how to be a better person, taking charge of ourselves, being responsible for our actions. So we do influence each other's in our daily lives, right? Aaron said it could be a friend. It could be somebody we just talk to on a daily basis and download. It could be a coworker. These are all mentors in our lives. Um, I am Uncle Rob, right? And to me, that's one of the most powerful titles that I have, because I know that I influence my family in a positive way, and I know that they look up to me and respect me, listen to my judgments, or not necessarily judgment, but my advice and guidance, because that's what a mentor does. Like we talked about coaching, right? AK had coaches, and he had a coach who pushed him, who was aggressive with him, who was on his case, trying to make him a better person. That's what, in essence, a coach does. They push you, they direct you, they train you. And a coach is often a hired gun. In other words, we hire coaches so that they can make us that better person and push us to levels that we may not otherwise want to go. Aaron talked about how we, have to make those tough choices now so that we can be better later on. And that's exactly what a coach does. We hire them. Whether, look, even if it's for a sport, to be a better sportsman, to be a better athlete, or to become better in business, leadership, or other areas of our development. We hire these people so that they can influence us and push us in the right direction. But a mentor is different in a way that they're there to just guide us, to support us, to offer advice, to provide feedback, to give us um, more information on what they've done, how they've led their lives, give us examples. They can also even act as a conduit, right? Introducing us to other people, giving us resources, and then being a role model, an example to follow. So a mentor is a person who will walk with you, right? They'll support you through your journey. And there is both an informal, as I mentioned, I have many informal relationships. I look back on my first mentor, and it was an informal relationship in essence, because I was of a youth group. I was, as a young teenager, I was a member of the Kiwanis Club here in Canada. Um, and we had our leaders in the group. And I still remember them to this day, Mick Peaty and George Ferguson. We called him Fergie. Fergie was my first and best mentor in my life. I still remember him to this day. I remember a lot of the words he gave me, the inspiration, and the times he set me right. Because a mentor, one of the things that they have to do is they have to be honest with you. They have to tell you things that you may not otherwise want to hear, right? They're going to not push you, but if they're not honest with you, if they're not showing up to tell you, look, I see where you're going here, but maybe you're not doing it right. You're not heading in the right direction. Here's what you need to look at. So they help you look deeper at yourself in order to become that better person. And that's what we're trying to do here in this community, right? We're trying to support positive role models. And we do that by being honest, not necessarily hurtful. You want to find compassion. You want to find a way to deliver it so that it's not only effective, but it, is heartening to the person who you're delivering it to. So that's, it's a difficult balance there. But if you build the relationship first, you can have that relationship where you can speak honestly and openly with your mentee, and they'll take that guidance. They'll listen to you because they trust you, right? So being a mentor and being a mentee is it's a difficult path, and they're both different, right? The mentee is there to learn from the person who they choose to connect with that person. That's another thing too, is that's a relationship of choice. Even if we have, like, we're trying to set up a formal mentorship. You've seen the guide, you've seen the forms. We're trying to set up a formal mentorship program within the men's room. But that's a volunteer position, right? The mentors here do it of the goodness of their own heart. They want to be able to serve. They want to be able to show up for their mentees. But the mentee has to take it seriously as well. They have to know that, yes, this is an area I need assistance with. Where can I improve? I want to improve in this area. And we seek out those people who are going to be able to serve us in that direction. And so we are going to match people with their mentee of choice. Hopefully we have people who can serve in multiple areas. And in that way, when you fill out your mentee application, you can you select areas of interest that you want to improve. And then our mentee or mentors are going to have to select areas where they are able to serve. And then we will match, hopefully, with multiple choices. But even still, if we have one person in this area, say it's finance, and we only have one person skilled in finance. By the way, Linda is skilled in finance, by the way, I will point that out. But if let's say there's only one person skilled in finance, try to connect with Linda if that's the person, right? Learn from her. And if you can connect and build a relationship, great. Let's see if you can work with her. So that's really the mentor relationship. It is a give and take. But I'm also going to say that it is the mentee's responsibility, right? As a mentee, you need to know where that first of all, you want to make the commitment. You do need to change or improve in this area. Look, when I was going through when I was going through my hardest times, I had to recognize that I needed help. I needed to change. Then I had to accept that I had to make the change, right? It wasn't somebody else's responsibility. It was my choice, my responsibility. I had to take that responsibility upon myself. Then I sought counseling because I knew I couldn't do it on my own. I didn't know about mentorship back then, or at least not as a formal program or an option. But thankfully, I had counseling available to me. Sought counseling. I'm a different man today because I sought counseling because I recognized I wanted to change, and it was my responsibility to change. So I took that upon myself, and then it's up to me to make the appointments, reach out to my mentor when I have a question, when I have a concern, when I have something that just I want to be able to get off my chest. It's up to me as a mentee to reach out to that person, make the appointments, have the conversations, tell them the area that you want to work on. So and like I said, anybody can become a mentor, but we want everybody. So we want everybody in this community to serve and become a mentor. And of course, we don't know it all. Every one of us has an area that we can improve in. And there are people who can serve in that area. So we can all be mentors. And I'd like to see us all take up a mentor as a mentee, become a mentee, reach out to others, and learn from others within our community. So there are certain characteristics that a mentor should have. They have to have patience. They have to be able to guide people. They have to have, of course, some wisdom, some skills and expertise in an area that the mentee wants to guide to grow. And then the mentee mentor relationship, it's a bilateral relationship in that there's benefits to both parties, right? As a mentee, of course, I want to learn everything my mentor has to teach me in this area. So I'm going to take, all the knowledge, all the wisdom, all the advice that they have to give. But as a mentor, I get to not only serve, which makes me feel better as a person, but I get to pass on my wisdom, pass on my experience, and be able to grow and develop my own. Look, they say you're not really learning something until you're able to teach it to others. So by teaching and helping other people grow, I'm growing myself, right? So we get to improve because we're helping to teach others and improve others. So what are some of the areas that a mentor should work on is communication, problem solving, technical skills, right? And any knowledge or industry experience that you may have that you may be able to pass on to others. And then, so you should also be a person who wants to serve, right? You have to be positive. You have to be cheerful. You have to be happy. You have to be energetic. You have to be empathetic. You have to understand that this person needs something from you, and you're the person to give it to them. And like I said, help them resolve their problems, conflict resolution, and being able to be connected to others as we are in this community. Look, there may be people in this community who your mentee might benefit from, but by able to, make that connection, pass them on to others, we're able to serve our mentees in that way. You want to be a good listener. And listening is more active listening than it is speaking. Look, I can speak, I can offer advice, I can offer guidance. That's one thing I do really well. But it's knowing when to shut up and hear the person who's, you know, wants that guidance from you, right? Hear what they're saying. Look, as I mentioned, when I was trying to build my kids up, I was serving them the way I thought they needed to be served. I wasn't serving them to their ideas, to their growth. I had to learn to listen to them, to understand them in order to serve them. So how can you mentor someone? You have to understand what it is they want. You have to understand what it is they're trying to get from you. Set expectations at the beginning of the when you guys first meet. There actually is a process. There's a 4-step process. And that process really is about preparation. You want to get to know your mentee, let them get to know you, build trust, build rapport, and then determine the purpose of yours. So negotiating the terms, determine the purpose of this mentor-mentee relationship. What is it that each party is trying to get out of it? And then, of course, we want to enable that growth. So many of us have heard of SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound, right? If you haven't heard SMART goals, but you want to be able to know that they are heading for something, and but determining who will do what by when, really, that will help them grow as in that mentorship role. And then, of course, there's that closure. We want to know when they have achieved what it is that the mentor is seeking, so that we know when this mentor-mentee relationship may be done, or maybe moving to a next level. Maybe we need to start again. So those are what it takes to be a mentor. And then, like I said, there are formal relationships within the mentorship. Um, and of course, there's 5 pillars of a successful mentorship. Pillar 1 is leaders champion the program. And that's what we're doing here in the mentors or the men's room, is we are champion that program. We are creating this program for you, for all of our community, to be a mentor, to be a mentee, and to serve others. And of course, the program is strategically planned. So we have, like you see, we've created this guide for you to follow, to learn what a mentee is, what a mentor is, what is the mentoring relationship, how to find a mentor or mentee. So we've put this into a guide for you. We've also created these applications so you can become a part of this mentorship program. And then the program is measured and defined. And that's that SMART goals, knowing when we have the closure, knowing when we're moving forward or achieving that level. And then the participants are trained. Now, we are filling out this application. We're banking on your experience. We are getting to know you, how you can serve, and filling out this application will put us in the understanding of how you serve and who you serve. But we're going to assume that most of us are at least informally trained in the mentorship program, because you are all on the path of personal development. You've done some growth on yourself. You've learned a lot along the way. And now it's time to pass on that knowledge and wisdom to others. And the program is supported by systems and processes. And we've talked about the process of growth and development, the 4 phases. And in this guide, there are other, different techniques that you can use. There's the 3 C's of mentorship, which is communication, collaboration, coaching. These 3 things will help you build that relationship. So if you use this guide as a sounding board for how to build that relationship, then you'll be successful here as a mentor. So like I said, we want everybody to become a part of this program. We built it out for you to be service as a mentor, so you can grow as a teacher, as a leader. But we built it for you to grow your own personal area, whether that be in your personal life. We know, some people need help with their relationships. Some people need help with their home. Some people need help in their business or leadership areas, or finances. Like I said, there are many areas where you might find to be of, or that you need service. So these guides will help you grow and serve your mentees in the best possible way. So I hope that outlines it, Linda. Hope that sets everything up. And I think you were going to take people to that next level in how to find that mentor or mentee and how to serve or get served in this community.
Yes, thank you so much for setting up the stage, RJ. So we've heard a lot about what a mentorship relationship is and what it isn't, and how you could enter into the space and what could happen as you have those conversations. So where I want to bring us now is to circle back to the idea that, let's say I'm a mentee and I want to go about finding a mentor, let's say. So we talked about how a mentor can be formal, and that it's someone that can guide you through those conversations. But there's also what we have in the society are people that are role models that we can emulate. So you can see them on YouTube. They could be authors, TEDx speakers. They could be all of these different individuals, right? So you have that particular type of role model. But then you also have someone who's a sponsor. So this one's a little bit different. So it could be somebody that sees you as someone that they would like to develop. And with your permission, you guys could enter into a mentor-mentee relationship. And a lot of times the word mentor is not even used. So those are three different ways. And one of the ones I want to mention is the informal. Okay. And I'm coming from like direct experience that happened just in the last week. That's how good this is. And so let's say there's a young person and they're at university, they're at college, they're learning a trade, they're going through and they're having that experience where they're learning the technical side of the trade. So really building the foundation. And so imagine when this young person is with you, okay, as their parent. I'm gonna use myself as an example. You can see where I'm going. So my son, who is 19, second year of university, studying accounting because he said it was good enough for dad, so he was going to do that. That's an inside joke because I also have accounting. But anyway, we were at our local supermarket and we ran into some relatives. So some in-laws of the in-laws. So they said, well, hey, Bradley, you're here to visit. That's great. And I just reminded them that he was in his second year of university studying accounting. And I said, that he's, thinking about the different careers in accounting. And they're like, oh, well, we have an in-law in the family that is a certified fraud examiner, and they love that field. It pays well, and you should talk to them. We should connect you. And I said, oh, Bradley, this is perfect. Not only are you like thinking about different opportunities that you could explore, but here you have someone that's going to connect you to someone in the field that you could explore, have the conversation. And so we did all of this all in a matter of, I don't know, 5 minutes. And so this is an area like if, a lot of times I'm thinking that, oh, this is an easy thing to do. But I found in conversation, in dialogue, in the men's circle for one of the places I lead, that what we think is oftentimes easy or simple and obvious is not so much to others. So when RJ's talking about how mentors can lead and guide in technical spaces, it could be relationship, communication, all those things. There's another one that mentors do, or sponsors in this case, is that when you hear of somebody that would like to be under your wing, or you can see that they will benefit, make sure you like help connect the dots. If it's not you, it could be someone else. In this case, it was the relatives that we met at the grocery store that are that connecting point. So someone that's not mom and dad, someone that's not an employer, someone that they can go meet and have that discussion. And so the other thing that I wanted to say is, because we're talking about the informal, is that a lot of times there are places and spaces that you can go to if you're looking for someone to take you to that next level. And I don't mean be responsible for getting you that next job. No, that's not what the mentor does. The mentor prepares you socially and in some cases technically to be able to take action-oriented steps that will get you in those spaces and places. So it's all about the mentee guiding the experience. So one of the areas that I see as a place to do this is in the workplace. So community of practice, advisory groups, training courses, professional groups. And so that could be inside or outside the organization, volunteering, meetups. It could be online, it can be offline. And so if you think about that, there's so many places and spaces. And so really, it's all about knowing what you want out of the relationship. And so RJ was speaking to that. And so there are 5 questions. If you are wanting to work with a mentor or a sponsor, before you have that conversation with them, these are the 5 questions. And those are going to be also on the mentee application form when you go into it. But the first one is, what do you want to learn more about? So it doesn't work to go up to a mentor and just say, I want you to be my mentor, and then magically hope that they will shape and grow you. No, you should have an idea of what you would like to learn more about. Second one is, what might you want to experience? Okay, so not everything is that book learning or technical training, but maybe you want to experience what it's like to organize an event, be an MC, run a podcast, all of those things. Those are experiences that you can get really versed in your craft and your trade. The third one is, what will keep you from exploring? There's always going to be something that can keep you from exploring, whether it's time, it could be money, it could be you're afraid to go into a space and get uncomfortable. It could be any and all of those things. However, if you also ask yourself this question, and I think this is the question, I think that's one of the most important and turns it all around. And it really is, what does the ideal experience look like? So you should know what good looks like when you work with that mentor to come out on this other side of that transformational growth that you want to experience. And then the last one, this is the one that will show how far you went on your journey. It's your measuring stick, I guess you could put it. It's how will you know when you have arrived? So you want this great experience. You want to learn these said things. You're going through the exploration and you're not letting anything stop you. How are you going to know when you got there? Knowing those 5 questions there are going to do something amazing and magical. So when you go to meet with that person that you'd like to emulate, go under their wing, be taken around like to networking events, let's say any of those things, if you can have those 5 questions answered for yourself and take them to your very first meeting with your mentor or your sponsor, guess what's going to happen? They're going to be able to tell you if they are the one that can be that person for you. And they're going to have clarity on what it is that you're actually looking for. Because again, I said the mentee guides the experience. It's not the mentor. The mentor could see potential in someone and want to work with them. And they could do a lot of the guiding and leading. But at the end of the day, the best mentor to mentee relationships are the ones where the mentee knows what they want and they drive that experience. They have accountability to show up and do the work. And everything from there makes the relationship lockstep. Everything goes in tandem, and the success rate of having something meaningful come out of that is increased when you do those things. And so I've given you a story. I've given you some questions of reflection if you're wanting to work with a mentor. And then I guess the third one that I wanted to leave you with before we go to the next section is that there's another thing that's just as important. If you're looking to move somewhere in your career and take your career to that next level, informational interviews when you're not looking for a job. Those are those are one of the hottest, most effective ways to really get into a space where people, when you say I'm looking to go into a certain space career-wise, or I'm looking for this type of organization where I can thrive and use my talents and ability to the best of the organization and the customers they serve, well, then what it does is it sets you up for when the hiring does happen, you've made a memorable impression on that person because you were proactive. You weren't asking for them to give you a job. You were just showing an interest in learning more and seeing if that could be a good fit should the time arise. And you know what? As a hiring manager, I've hired people that have done that. So I'm speaking from experience being on the other side of it. I've also been that person to ask for informational interviews or a shot to try something out in a voluntary capacity. Again, that's gotten me into a lot of great spaces and places in my career. And so I stand by it solidly as another way to form those relationships.
So Linda, are you done? Sorry, Linda.
Oh, I'm
Are you
just
done?
taking a breath here. I'm just
Gotcha. Keep going then, because
excited
I have
with
some
the topic
questions
here.
and that I want to
Yes,
discuss, and then I had something I wanted to reiterate on there.
yes,
So if I may
go ahead.
actually though, so that informational interview, that might be done with a potential employer. And that looks great because you're taking that initiative. You want to work with this organization. You want to learn more about the role. But it also might be, look, I want to be in this career. I want to take up this job. Look for those people who have that position and, seek them out as mentors. Find out if you can spend 30 minutes with them just to ask some questions and get some feedback. What do I need to learn? What is it going to take this position?
Exactly. You can't go wrong when you're proactive and you lead your own way. Were there any other questions that anyone has here for RJ or I on either a mentor or mentee side of the equation?
So Mario asked a question and I replied
Oh,
to him. I'm not sure if
okay.
everybody else got to see it or if I just replied to him, but Mario asked the question, can I ask what time commitment is expected of a mentor? And so I answered him, and a mentor is a volunteer. So the commitment level is really up to the mentor. It's how much time are you willing to give to your mentee? Now that could be 1 to 3 hours a week if that's gonna, work for both of you. But it could be something as simple as meeting once a month for coffee or, 30 minutes or an hour. And then, but maybe give them access to your email address so that they can always reach out to you, your phone number if you want to go to that level, if you want to, build that relationship with them. The commitment is all up to you as a mentor. And then that's done during the negotiation phase of the relationship. So you determine how much are each of you willing to give, how often are you going to meet, and what's the commitment level expected of each party. So that's really what, it's all up to the mentor because it's you as a volunteer giving your time to the mentee.
That's a
So
great question, really. In my experience, typically could be 90 minutes every 2 weeks or once a month. And that's so that there's space for if there's any reflective work or things to go out and go try and do, then that leaves space for that to happen. And that's a great thing to talk about in your first meeting with someone that might possibly be your mentor, sharing as a mentee what your time commitment is and what you're looking for, and making sure it's in congruency and alignment with what the mentor has to offer. Because I've had situations where 1 hour once a month is spent correctly. When I say correctly, I just mean being effective in knowing what the mentee wants to get out of the session can be very powerful. And once a month for an hour, 90 minutes can work very effectively and work really great for each party. So if you want to work with someone up to 3 hours, again, the mentor could decide they had that capacity, then they're very, much open to doing that. So really, it's all about what the ask is and what the capacity is.